Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, everyone. You're listening to Conservative Cool Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Wayne Bradley. How are you doing this evening, everybody? We've got a good show this evening. We've got some great topics to talk about. A lot's happening so far in the new year. I want to wish everyone that's listening a happy new year. We're going into a new year now, and a lot of changes are going to be expected, and I want to hear from everyone this evening on how you're feeling. The call-in number will be 347-996-3175, and I want to thank everyone that's listening tonight. Again, we got a few topics we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go over them for you. The first topic of the evening will be the terrorists that are giving the Miranda rights right now, and I want to know how you feel about that. The terrorists that tried to blow up the plane over Detroit have actually been given the same rights as any American citizen now. They've been the opportunity to have lawyers, and they weren't taken to a military prison, but instead taken to a civil jail where they were given the same rights as any American citizen. And I think that was a bad mistake. We were not able to get enough information out of these people, and they were willing to talk, but we gave them a different set of rights, which allowed him to lawyer up, and now he has the right to remain silent like anyone else. I disagree with that, and I think that we need to stop treating these type of people as if they have the same rights as you and me people. This man was not an American citizen in the first place, so let's be clear about that. He came over here to break the law. He had evil intentions, and yet still we're giving him the same privileges, the same hospitals, everything that would be afforded to the average American citizen. So I think we need to talk a lot about that. I think that we need to discuss that issue. More importantly, we need to let the leadership, the administration know that this is not the way to go. These people are not American citizens. They do not deserve the same privileges. And treating them in such a fashion is a big mistake, and over time we're going to pay for that. The person that was going to bomb the planes in Detroit was talking, but we decided to, again, treat him as the same way if we picked up someone who had broken law for any other infraction in America, which, again, was a big mistake. So I hope that we're somehow able to get some information from him, because it's very pertinent. We get all the information we can out of what's going on in Yemen and see what we can do to better protect ourselves and better protect our country. So I look forward to hearing from the callers tonight. The call-in number is 347-996-3175, and I'm going to go to my tweets this evening also and talk to you. I'll also be taking a Ustream broadcast a little bit later in the show to kind of give people a follow-through with me also on Ustream. So I want to hear from the callers tonight. The call-in number is 347-996-3175. Through the show, I like to keep everyone updated on what's going on, also on Twitter and Facebook. So if you're not following me already on Twitter, the address is twitter.com/WBconservative. I try to give insightful comments and also post the latest news that I'm receiving throughout the day, from whether it be news sources or other people that I follow or friends on Twitter. I post that information for others to read and disseminate it to how they feel about things. I do not make it a one-sided issue, because it's not a one-sided problem. We need to make all of our politicians accountable for the mistakes and the way that they're not listening to the American people. But obviously, with our president being the leader of that, he will catch some of that. He will catch some of that heat too. Give me a call tonight, 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you. The first issue of the night is obviously the terrorists being given the same rights as you and me here in America, and how do you feel about that? I want to hear from you. I'm about to go ahead and start posting some things on Twitter to get some people calling in so we can talk about it. Thanks a lot. You listen to Conservatives Cool Radio. You're your host, Wayne Bradley. I also want to tell you to go out and check out the website, conservativescool.com. We post news and different information from different and various sources. A lot of different comedy and different things to get you through the day. So it's got a lot of different subjects and topics on that website. Again, that's conservativescool.com. All right. I want to get some callers in this evening. So we're going to talk about a few things. Another issue that we're going to talk about will be Michael Steele and the comments that he made. He's catching a lot of flack from different people because he didn't say for sure that the Republicans could win everything in 2010. And I think that he was giving a very honest assessment of that. He realizes there's going to have to be some changes made, and people are going to have to get back to the principles of the party if we actually want to win. The whole idea that you got to really change everything is not exactly what the party is reaching for. It's nothing wrong with expanding and reaching out to other people, but the actual core values are what will attract people and what will keep people true to the party in that stance. So I think Michael Steele was being honest last night, and some people might have a problem with that, but I mean, I guess he could have just came out and said, yeah, we're going to win everything in 2010, but there will be some changes that need to be made even with the Republican Party if they really want to be successful. The whole idea is that we're just going to let Obama mess up. It's kind of like the same way people pushed Obama on in 2008 saying, well, he's just not Bush. So that kind of attitude of not doing anything, not being active, not trying to make the country better, and kind of waiting and allowing Obama to mess up on his own is it might work temporarily, but at the same time, the party has to start coming up with some ideas and also sticking true to the concepts that has made the party successful from the beginning, which is smaller government. It seems that once either side, whether it be Republicans or Democrats, once they get to D.C., the spending is like something they're addicted to, and both sides seem to agree on that. So they had it was very bipartisan when they came to bailing out these banks and these people. So I think that's where everyone's kind of frustrated that you have to show that you're there for the people and not just for these big companies. So I want to hear from the people tonight. 347-996-3175. I'm going to go on here and go on to Twitter real quick, and I'm also going to set up the Ustream broadcast. So if you're listening, give me a call. Let me know what you think. Those are the first two topics of the night, and I want to hear what you have to say. I'm setting up the Ustream broadcast also for the evening, so I'm setting that up real soon. I want to hear from everybody this evening. I'm going to start the broadcast on Ustream right now. Also, so we are now live on Ustream as well as on Blog Talk Radio. Send out a tweet for everyone. I want to know how people feel about the whole idea of giving these terrorists the same rights as you and me. When we are, these guys, we could have got a lot more from them probably if we took them to a military base and obviously continue to interrogate them as opposed to giving them Miranda rights and the right to silence. So I hope that we don't pay for that down the road as opposed to, like I said, maybe they're getting some information and then they're not telling us about it. But the idea that we're going to take this man in and give him the same rights as every American citizen is unbelievable to me. So I'm live on Ustream. I'm live on Blog Talk Radio. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. I think that the idea that we have to continue to we can't treat it like an isolated incident. We have to actually treat this as if this is war, and we have to take it seriously. And right now, I don't think that we're taking it seriously enough. I think that we have to actually be proactive in what we're doing as far as fighting terrorism. And the way we don't wait till it comes to our front lawn and then begin interrogating people. This terrorist attempted to do that. And to be honest, we should have never gave him those Miranda rights. So let me hear from the people out there tonight, 347-996-3175. So we're doing this broadcast live on Ustream, and we're also doing it live on Blog Talk Radio. You can't hear all the calls on Ustream right now. I'm working on the way I'm trying to do that. I might actually take my headphones off if I get a call just to see how it goes with the Ustream, the callers, and see if everybody can hear them also on Ustream and on Blog Talk Radio. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you. Also, I think I spoke about it last week, and I want to talk about it again, is I have a speech coming up at a Tea Party event in 2 weeks on January 18th in Cairo, Michigan. And I didn't realize that until the day when I was talking to some people about, what day that was. That's actually Martin Luther King's birthday. So I'm really happy about the idea of doing a speech on that day. I think that's what Martin Luther King would have wanted, was for us to be able to speak freely in anywhere, in any place. And I think that's really great that I'll be given the opportunity to speak at a Tea Party event in northern Michigan. So it's really great. I want to hear from people this evening about all the things we're talking about. 347-996-3175. Again, we're on Ustream, and we're also on Blog Talk Radio here. Got a couple of viewers here. How's everybody that's watching me on Ustream? Again, the kind of issues we've talked about tonight so far have been the terrorist rights, and we also talked a little bit about Michael Steele. I saw on some of the blogs and stuff on the conservative blogs today he was getting kind of beat up a little bit for his interview on Hannity last night, when I guess he asked him, were they going to win everything in 2010? And he said, I don't know. I twinged when he said, I don't know, because that's not a good answer, but I think you have to give him credit for being honest in the simple fact that he could have just said, yeah, we're going to win everything, we're going to clear the board if Obama keeps messing up. But he said that we're going to win if we stick to the values of the party, and I think that was a better answer than just saying, yeah, we're going to win because we're going to win. We do have to remind all of the people, whether they're Republican, the Republican Party, that the reason why the party has been so successful is because of the core beliefs, and once you get away from that is when you have all these problems. Once you get to D.C. and you're spinning like liberals, well, the line gets blurry, and it gets it's blurry for everyone. And so I think that's what he was saying, is that, yeah, we'll win if we can go back to the principles of the Republican Party and smaller government, that sort of thing. So I'm happy that he did that. I know some people probably aren't satisfied. He has a tough job to make the people happy, because his primary function is to fundraise, and he has to make a lot of different people happy. So he has a rough job doing that. So I give him credit for being honest, and I hope he continues to do that. And I hope the people, the politicians and the people that he works with, are actually listening to him. So give me a call, 347-996-3175. See, my switchboard has went down here for a minute. We might be having technical difficulties. Back up. It's still on. Okay. All right. Give me a call. I want to hear from you. 347-996-3175. Again, we're talking about a few different issues. Michael Steele, and we're also talking about the terrorist rights. In 2010, we got a lot of different things going on, and we have to be moving in the right direction. And I think that's the thing that Michael Steele was talking about last night. He wasn't saying that they weren't going to win, but he was saying if you're going to win, you're going to have to do some things, and possibly do some things differently than what's been going on, obviously, in the last 8 to 10 years. It's not just the Democrats' fault. It's everyone's involved in the massive spending and the wasting and all the special bills that have been, allocated towards people, and I think that's with all the American people, not just certain people. I think we're all frustrated with that. So I think you got to make everyone accountable. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. See what's going on with the switchboard here. Got a couple of viewers on Ustream here this evening. How you doing? The switchboard is giving me some small technical difficulties this evening, so I apologize if anyone's calling in right now. We're on live, 347-996-3175. All right. The next issue that I'm going to talk about, and I guess you can kind of see what's going on here. Switchboard. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio right now, I don't know if my switchboard went down, so I'm still streaming live on Ustream, and from what I can hear, it sounds in my headphones that the Blog Talk Radio is still up, but I just have patience with me if you're calling in, and I'm not catching your call right now. So 347-996-3175 is the call-in number. You can also go in with me on Ustream and send me a tweet here. Well, right now, while I'm trying to wait for my the actual switchboard to come back up, I guess I can broadcast live with all my friends on Ustream that are watching. Hope you're enjoying the show. We've talked about a few topics tonight, and I hope that we can get some people calling in, 347-996-3175. I'm also going to start trying to do a live chat on my website. We have a chat room in there where we can also, if you're not calling in, we can also do a live chat online. Some people actually prefer to doing the live chat as opposed to calling in. So give me a call if you want, 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you this evening. All right, we are back on, and I have my switchboard back up. I apologize for those technical difficulties. Nothing's perfect in this internet world we live in. Give me a call. We're back up and running, 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you, America. We're talking again about the different issues of the day. The terrorists and their Miranda rights was one of the issues we talked about. Michael Steele and his I guess, brutal honesty that some people might not have liked, but I guess I understand. I'd rather them tell me that than just lie and say, oh, everything's going to be great regardless of the scenario. So give me a call. I want to hear from you, America. 347-996-3175. I'm going to go check on some tweets also. Lady Girl, I want to hear from you out in Alaska. Vanessa, if you're listening in Baltimore, I hope you're calling in tonight. Give me a call. And I want to hear from you. 347-996-3175. Okay, and the next issue that we're going to talk about, we're going to be talking about the health care debate, and I call it deals made after dark. When the president was elected, they said there was going to be so much more transparency as far as when they made bills and when things were going to be passed, that we would be pretty much updated as things went along. C-SPAN would be invited to everything, and that has just not been the case. A lot of these deals are being made in the back rooms, and then they come out with a deal that they wanted everyone to be excited about. Ben Nelson, the senator from Nebraska, Senator Nelson from Nebraska, was opposed to the bill until he got $300 million that pretty much just took his state off the hook for having to pay for their share of the bill. So what you've had now is a bunch of attorney generals, including Mike Cox, the Attorney General of Michigan, that are possibly considering legal action because that's not the way we do things here in America. And the idea that, okay, because your senator, who was the last person actually held out because he knew the bill wasn't right in the first place, he took his vote was bought. You know, they paid $300 million for it. And essentially, this is the kind of thing that we thought that was going to be put to an end once the new president was elected. He said that he was going to change the way things were done in D.C., and it only seems to have gotten worse. And actually now they're not hiding it. The idea that you could be against something and with the matter of just, again, buying off the state, which, again, some people from his state, made clear they don't want even any part of. But again, that's something different when the money's actually, a check is being cut to your state and you're in dire needs. Will they accept it or not is something totally different. I want to hear from people. I want to hear from somebody out in Nebraska, in that area. I know we got some listeners out there. If you're listening tonight, give me a call, 347-996-3175. We're going into the half-hour point here on the show tonight, and I want to hear from some people about how they're feeling about these things. We have some serious issues and serious things that are happening here in America, and the only way that we are going to reach out to, reach the message is going to reach our leaders is if we're vigilant and persistent on letting them know what we agree and disagree on. We can't. It's obvious at this point we can't just vote them in and expect that they're going to make all the right decisions on their own. The people that have elected them have to stay, like I said, stay persistent and letting them know what they want done on their behalf, because at this point they're just acting on our behalf without, it's not necessarily everything that we want. So this is a time when the American people, all the people have to be willing to step up and let their voices be heard. And this is one of the many ways that we can do that, and I encourage people to do that. Even if you don't agree with everything I'm saying, I encourage you to give me a call and we can talk about it. Let's get your opinion out there too. Even if you're a liberal, I want to hear from you. 347-996-3175. That calling number again is 347-996-3175. I'm going to go ahead and go to Twitter and see what's going on out there. Let's see. All right. So I appreciate everybody that's been listening so far, and I appreciate everybody that calls in on the weekly basis, giving us great insight on how they're feeling in their region, their area. We've had people calling in from Canada, the Caribbean. Last night I had a gentleman from Australia that was listening in. We did a sound test last night about 11:30. So I appreciate people who listen in from all over the world. I was looking last night at our stats on the website, and we had over 1,000 people last month that went to the site, and they were from 33 different countries. So I really thank everyone that's checking out the site. We're constantly trying to make things better on there too. So give me a call. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. You just added your button to my blog. First time being able to watch. Enjoy it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's KHat43 on Twitter. I'm glad you're enjoying the show so far. Again, we're doing it on Ustream. I'm going to figure out, I'm not a tech guy, but I'm going to figure out how I can link my Ustream audio so you can actually hear when people are calling in, besides obviously taking out the headphones and just playing it live on there. So I'm glad people are listening in. And again, I just try to add my opinion to things. I'm not trying to make people think one way or the other. Obviously, if we could all think the right way, that'd be great. But that's what makes America great, is the value of different opinions, and we all have to value those and at least listen to them so we can kind of understand, appreciate where other people are coming from. I think that's the problem right now, that our government is focused on one agenda and the one way that they believe it should be ran. And a lot of people obviously don't agree with it. I think that this administration will do a great bit of service by actually listening to maybe both sides of the issue, and maybe, again, putting together solutions that everyone can agree on are the best way to do it. So, as far as the healthcare debate, I think we've talked about this for weeks, that something has to be done. I just don't know if giving everyone health care with a single payer system, which obviously the administration is kind of thrown out for now because they realized that wasn't going to pass. But we need to do something. There's no doubt that the healthcare system our healthcare system is fine, but it's the healthcare insurance and how do we pay for things that's kind of gotten out of whack, and we definitely need to improve on that. I think if you made it a system where that all the different healthcare companies in the country competing against each other, and it's not just a state-to-state thing where it's only 4 or 5 healthcare companies in one state, you're going to open up a lot more competition, and it would be similar to what's happening in the cell phone business, where you would have companies that are selling premium, high-end stuff, and then you would also have more affordable insurance that might give people opportunities who couldn't afford insurance before to be able to get insurance, and it'd still be something that's affordable. Let's see who's watching me now. Sacradan, you're watching the show. I'm glad you're watching the show. How you doing? Give me a call if you have any, like I said, we're talking about all kinds of issues. I want to hear what any of the conservatives feel about what Michael Steele's answer is. I'm really interested to hear about that, because I think he has a tough job in trying to be the leader of the party in a situation where some people are going to, have their opinions in one way or the other. But I really would like to hear some opinions on that, because he's in a situation where he wants to see the party successful, but he has to make different fractions of our party happy with different things that he says. And so sometimes I'm sure he finds himself backpedaling on some of the things that he's had to say. And I'm sure that, again, as a man and as the president of that party, that's not easy. So you have to give him credit for being honest. Last night he was on Hannity, and the whole idea was that he gave an answer that I'm sure some people don't like. And I'll be honest, I don't like maybes from our leaders, because that's indecisive. That's not a clear-cut answer, but at the way that it was answered, it might have been the most honest answer in the way he approached that answer. So I think you have to give him credit and his just due for that. But at the same time, maybe he could have been better prepared for that. I don't know, but he does. To me, that was an honest answer to that question. So if the Republican Party wants to win in 2010, 2012, the changes that some people don't want to see would be, obviously, it might be more. It needs to be more inclusive and attracting more people to the party. But the way you do that is by being consistent with the values that we've always had, and trying to expand the reach of that message, and showing how it appeals to different people as opposed to only making it seem like it only fits a certain person or certain people. We have to go, the message is clear, and I believe the message can be reached to a lot of other people, but we just need to expand upon that message and show that how it can fit into other people's lives and their lifestyles, and that our party is moving in the right direction, and we're willing to reach out to people, and not just at election time. I think that we have to do a better job with the voter drives and reaching out to the youth, in that ways, and that's kind of like what I want to do. And with conservatives, it's cool is to reach out to other people, and again, make our leaders accountable, not just to one group of people, but to everybody, because I think sometimes that gets lost in the game of politics, is that whether he's a Republican or a Democrat, he has a responsibility to the people of a certain state or a certain, the country if you're the president, and that, okay, there's going to be people that didn't vote you in, but that doesn't mean you're not responsible for them too, and that those people do have a voice, and, it would be wise not to just ignore them. Obviously you have an agenda and things you want to do, so you have to deal with it that way, but it would make probably people more comfortable if our leaders are dealing with these issues as opposed to ignoring them or just moving forward without addressing them at all. And I think that's the responsible thing to do, to ask of any leader, is to say, I want you to, I have concerns. Can you deal with them, not just ignore them or act like they're not there? And I think that's what's been going on in the last few months with the Tea Parties. I think early on in the very beginning, you had people going to these events, and they were showing like Protestant images of people bringing guns and that sort of thing. I think that kind of set some very negative images in the very beginning of what was going on, and you definitely, and you had people that were so upset that maybe they weren't thinking about the way this was being portrayed. But as time has gone on, there hasn't been any violence at these events at all. So, I mean, the whole thing, and like I said, I've been invited to speak at a Tea Party event in 2 weeks. So I think, again, that speaks more for the fact that America is willing to change, is willing to look at people of all different backgrounds and as potential leaders and things, but the message has to be on point. And I think that as the Republican Party moves, that's what they'll have to remember, is that, let's not just reach out at election time. Let's reach out all year round. Let's show that we care, and that then there will be some weight come time, election time comes, because we've been there already. We're not just showing up at election time in certain communities and that sort of thing. So I applaud the people that are doing that. I applaud the people up in Carroll, Michigan, that are inviting me to come up there and speak. That sets the tone and example that it's not about a race issue, that it's just about the issues, and we need to keep people on that, as opposed to letting people distract us with issues that that will not help this country move forward one way or the other. We could talk about race and those kind of things all day, and the reality of it is that that's not what's going to get this country moving in a better direction. And those are meant to be distractions, so we don't do that. So I hope people recognize that, and again, realize that when people are criticizing the president or something of that nature, that it's not about that. It's more or less that his policies scare the mess out of a lot of people. So moving forward, I want to hear from the people. We got about 25 minutes left in the show. I haven't heard from anybody this evening. I know we got viewers out there watching on Ustream and are also listening, but I want to hear from you. 347-996-3175. You guys can't let me run my mouth the whole hour without anybody calling in. You can't let that happen. So give me a call, 347-996-3175. Or check out Twitter, and also check out what's going on Ustream. Slow night so far with the call-ins. We usually, and it always happens that way. You end up getting people calling in right when the show's, you get a bunch of calls at the end of the show. Wish we could get them all throughout the show. The call-in number is 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you, Stephen. Let me know how the broadcast is sounding. Is it crispy and clean? And we've been working on new audio equipment, so we're constantly, again, trying to improve the quality of the broadcast. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll be bringing in guests and also, making the show a little more interesting, bringing in guests and having them speak on the show. And also posting some different interviews that I'll be, taping and then also playing them on the show. So we're looking for some new things to happen in 2010. I look forward to presenting it to you, and I appreciate you listening in here in the infancy stages of this show, Conservatives Cool Radio, and also on Conservatives Cool Ustream. So I appreciate it. All right, so it looks like we've got our first caller of the evening, and I will be taking the call. Caller, you on the air? Caller, can you hear me? All righty. Switchboard. Let me see if I can get you here. Caller, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry about that. We were having a switchboard went blank on me there. How you doing this evening?
Good. This is Sector Dan.
How you doing?
Good. I saw your post on my Twitter feed that you were on and your phone number, and so I saw you said that you acknowledged that I was watching you, so I figured, okay, I'm going to pick up the phone and call you now and see. I don't know if I have the answer for what your questions are. Not sure I have any answers for anything. I know that I'm not real thrilled with how things are going, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I know a better way to go.
Well, that's part of it now, and we've elected our officials to do that. Where are you calling from, Sacramento, Dan?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Okay. All right. Well, that's great. First issue, I guess, that we were talking about, and I guess you can just answer this question for me. How do you feel about terrorists receiving the same rights as an American citizen? Obviously, someone that's not even an American citizen.
I think it's a foolish mistake.
Okay. Yeah, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. I mean, we had a chance to get information from this man, and once we gave him the right to remain silent, that's exactly what he did. And I just hope that down the road we don't pay for that by, obviously more attacks and not going to the places that he was going to give us the information to.
Well, when you arrest people and put them into the system, they get certain rights, and I think those rights are conferred upon citizens primarily. Well, I guess if you're in this country and you're arrested, you have those rights whether you're a citizen or not. But if you're taken to a place like Guantanamo Bay where you're being held as an enemy combatant, you don't have the same rights. I think you have some access from the Red Cross, but I think people like that, if we're going to interrogate them properly and find out what they know in a timely fashion before they can get a lawyer and not have to tell you anything, then it's going to be much more useful if we're fighting a war. If you don't see this as a war, I'm not sure the administration actually sees it as a war, and I think that's a mistake as well.
I agree. He's treated as an isolated incident, and it's not an isolated incident. These people are over there training and preparing. It could be 3 to 5 guys at a time, but they're preparing and treating this as a war. And I think that we need to take the same approach as opposed to treating these people as if they're just one guy who did it all by himself and didn't, and like I said, we need to follow up and get all the information from this guy. So it just wasn't a smart move. Wasn't a smart move.
Well, Obama sent out the memo that the war on terror is over. I don't think Al-Qaeda got the memo.
Not at all. Like I said, as I said a while ago, these guys are not going to go away on their own. If we leave them alone, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to leave us alone. So I'm hoping over time that we don't have to be shown that by any tough lessons, but other than the fact that we just know from background that they're not going to back down and they're not really trying to negotiate. So Is this the first time you ever heard my show before, Dan?
It is.
Okay, great. We usually do it every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, so 7 o'clock your time out there. And how's the weather out there in Sacramento? Make me a little jealous here.
Well, not really jealous. It's cold. Well, cold, what we would call cold. It was 55 degrees today. But if it's 55 and there's no snow, you guys are probably putting on your tank tops and getting out your rollerblades, right?
Right, 55 and no snows. There's people out here with their tops down in Michigan.
But here it's all gray and foggy. We're not seeing the sun because the fog settles into the valley, and it raises up in the daytime, but you don't see the sun, and then at night it settles back down. But it's kind of damp and cold, and it's just not nice. You go 20 minutes up into the foothills in either direction, and now you see the sun again. It's a little bit warmer and a little more pleasant.
I hear you. Did you see last night, the other topic I was talking about last night was Michael Steele. Did you hear him on Hannity when they asked him were they going to win everything in 2010, and he said we might, maybe, and he just didn't say yes. And I've read a lot on the blogs that a lot of people were really disappointed that he didn't just go out and say we're going to win it all. How do you feel about that?
I didn't see that. I have been a long time news junkie and watched a lot of Fox News, and I went on vacation this summer, and I came back, and I've had kind of a news moratorium. I think I like the programming, but some of it I think is just the way it's packaged. I walk around angry all the time, and I don't want to be angry all the time, so I quit watching as much of it, and then I find I'm not as mad all the time. But I'm not a Republican any longer. I was a Republican for quite some time. I was raised by extreme liberals, so I'm sort of the outcast of the family, if you will. And I'm
the same way. I'm
now an independent, and I really feel like the two parties have their own interests at heart anymore. They don't seem to be focused on solving problems. With whichever one's in power, of course, now being the Democrats are in power, they're so blatantly self-serving and they're so blatantly obvious. I don't see it. Like I was just reading, and I just posted up a tweet that Nancy Pelosi says this is the most open process that we've had, and I don't know if she's smoking crack or she's not paying attention, but this hardly looks like an open process to anybody. And
no, it's not.
So I don't understand what they're doing.
That's the part where the mainstream media has just done an awful job of, bringing that to the light. This has all been done behind closed doors, and I think that a lot of these senators and congressmen are, quite frankly, a lot of them probably will pay with their jobs in either 2010 or 2020.
And I hope that's true. Unfortunately, the only choice is whoever's in power. The only other choice we have is the opposite, who's not in power. And when you go post up a conservative opinion on say at the bottom of a news story, then the immediate response you'll get from the left side is, well, the Republicans this and the Republicans that. I'm of the mind now that the opposite of that is not automatically Republican anymore. There seems to be a growing number of people who look at the kind of spending that's going on, kind of non-representative. It's like the Congress, the government, the federal government seems to have completely decided that whatever is going on in the country absolutely does not matter, and they're going to do whatever they want to do, period, the end. And I know we have a representative republic. We don't have a democracy. We have a republic, so we elect people. We send them to do our bidding, but it's still supposed to be our bidding. And so I feel like more and more people feel disaffected that if you're in a financial crisis, you don't spend your way out of it. You got to find ways to cut things back. So even though we say we need some health care reform, and I agree with you on that fact, we don't need to spend another $1 trillion when we just spent another couple of $1 trillion. And so I don't think the Republicans have the answer anymore. I think the Republicans want to be in power, and the Democrats want to be in power. And beyond being in power, I don't sense that they really have anyone's interests at heart.
And and I'm glad you talked about that, Dan. That's going to be the next thing after. I agree with you, and that's something that a third party and everything else. That's why that option is even being put out there, because both parties have been letting the people down. So I appreciate you calling in. I hope you'll listen in again next week. Again, it's going to be out in California. It'll be 7 o'clock your time, but every Tuesday at 10 o'clock Eastern. And again, we're going to probably be expanding the show to bringing on some guests and things. But I really appreciate you calling in.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. You have a good evening. God bless you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. And the comments that Dan made right there, I think that is what a lot of people are saying from both parties, and I think that's where, again, what Michael Steele was talking about, and I think that all politicians need to be on the notice of is that the people are sick and tired of being left out of the decision-making process. It's like we're hiring people to do our bidding, and they won't listen to what we want done. And that goes for both sides. So I think that's been the most frustrating thing for whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, in particular Republicans, because we're not used to watching our party spin the way that has happened over the last few years. That real conservatives are saying there are no conservatives out here. Show me where my conservative candidates are, and then maybe I can vote for that person. So, Mel, I know if you're listening out there, I know you feel me. I've listened to you and I've watched your tweets about different, a real conservative candidate, and I know you're still waiting for that person. So, it really does come down to the candidate that's going to help the people, is going to represent the people and what they want done. Not be scared of polls all the time and really do the work of the people. So we elect the people, and I think that it's time that we make them accountable for everything they do. If they don't do their job, then we need to find the people that will do the job in the way that we want them to do it. So, Dan, I appreciate you calling in from Sacramento. Everybody, if you're listening, give me a call, 347-996-3175. Appreciate the call. And again, I think that's what a lot of the voters, in particular, all people in general, we're feeling disenfranchised because regardless of what party you're with, if you're watching the spending, if the normal person at home, if we're going through a financial crisis, we can't spend ourselves out of it. We can't just print money and say, I'm in bad shape right now. I'm $5,000-$10,000 in the hole. Let me just go print up $5,000-$10,000, or maybe, or try calling the bank and asking them to see if they'll give you $10,000 in credit cards or something. It won't happen because, quite simply, they know that's a bad investment. But our government feels comfortable to do that with our hard-earned tax dollars. If you go into the bank right now and told them that you're in the same situation our country is in, that hey, I need a loan. I'm short on money, short on upfront cash. I'm actually spending more money than I'm bringing in. I want to create a new business. I want to create a healthcare business, but I don't have the money for it. But I need some money now. What do you think? What do you think a bank would tell the average person walking in under those kind of conditions? Can you get some money? No. But yet and still, the American people, we're forced to bail out those same banks that won't give anybody anything when they need it as a person, and also when they make bad business decisions that, again, this all falls on the doorstep of the American people. So I think a lot of people were frustrated with that in general, that, you're seeing just a lot of bad decisions being made on our leaders on both sides of the aisle, and I think it's time to make we call them all out. It's a lot easier right now because our president is the leader, so he's always going to catch the most flack for whatever decisions are going on in the direction of our country, which he should. He's the president, but he's not doing it by himself. Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid, those guys are out there too, making news at night, making a lot of backdoor deals, buying out people, offering things and offers they can't refuse to accept their agenda and make it fly. And that's essentially what the president told them in the first place. Look, here's what I want out the deal. Now I need you guys to put together something that'll pass. And it's come down to that. It hasn't come down to whether if it's a good bill anymore, if it's good for the people, if it's going to help people. It's come down to now let's pass a bill so he can claim a victory for health care. And I think that's wrong. I think that's not the genuine way that when people voted for him, that was the intention, that he was just going to, kind of pay lip service to these kind of things. I'm going to give people health care, but it's not really helping people. Only people that seems to benefit, again, goes to the big companies, the healthcare companies, the pharmaceutical companies, and the lawyers, of course. Can't forget about the lawyers. The lawyers have got to get their cut. So, again, it's the same thing. Nothing's changed. And I guess some of this you can't be surprised when you realize the background. He was a lawyer. Worked for Acorn. I mean, these are some of the people he's worked with. So, I mean, you can't be totally surprised when after all the firestorm that was brought up about Acorn, no one really got in any trouble. There was nothing ever found or any other issues brought up. That people are passing bills Christmas Eve at times, and slow news cycles that pushing stuff through and no one can challenge it. And I mean, these are tactical moves that they're purposely doing, and I think that the media has been very slow to call him out on any of these things because they have a bias. They love this man, so they don't really want to challenge him on too much unless it becomes the only thing I can see them challenging him on will be media rights, because he's not being very transparent in a lot of things he's doing. So at some point, someone besides Fox News is going to challenge him on the fact that they're not getting access to these deals being made, and maybe at that point they'll start challenging him more. But at this point right now, he's had a pretty a free pass on getting stuff done. Full-length interviews when and it ends up being policy issue interviews, but he gets a full 20-30 minutes on NBC walking through the White House and that kind of thing, like almost how they do when they do 60 minutes or something like that for a celebrity or something when they're doing a full sit-down interview. So I think the media bias is definitely caught up in the fact that they won't challenge him a lot on the things that he's doing, either questionable at the very least or wrong. So he has a major advantage from that standpoint, that the only person that I guess, from a media standpoint, the only people that have really challenged him is Fox News. And because it's appeared that way, it almost it appears that they're picking on him, and I guess that's unfortunate, because really all they're doing is asking questions that it seems like other news agencies, should be doing. People like Glenn Beck, he's asking questions that I don't see why ABC News and I don't see why NBC, these guys aren't calling them out also, because their job is to present something to the American people and let them decide and decipher what they believe and what they want, not just passing it all on as this stuff is news, because it's not. They're not reporting the news. They're reporting what they want us to hear, and I think that that's important. That while we do these kind of shows, giving people the access to call in and give their opinions and figure out what they believe and what they don't believe, and put it all out there, as opposed to shaping one's opinion with just one-sided views. I can appreciate Dan said he had to take a hiatus for a while from listening to the news because it just made him mad. My release is sports. I'm into watching back, football. You need something to do that, and I understand that, but we can't lose sight of how serious these issues are. A lot of times in America, because things aren't happening, we haven't had any attacks. We get laxed in our approach, and we tend to believe, we go back to the pre-9/11 days of not thinking anything can happen to us. So I think it's important that we stay focused on all these issues and realizing that we still are vulnerable, and we're not safer at this point. And obviously, the way that possible terrorist attack could have happened, it shows that we still have a lot of work to do. Shows that we have to stay vigilant. This terrorist's father called the U.S. Embassy and said that he believed his son might have been participating in terrorist activity, and yet he was still allowed to board a plane. So again, we have to do better. The president called it a failure, and that's something we can agree on. But again, these are the same people that you're working, in cahoots with. So maybe now he can understand if President Bush might have got some bad information or some bad intel. Maybe it's not so unbelievable to him now when he's seeing things. Mistakes can happen in the field that can, make you, go to war. Again, people have always said it's under false pretenses, and it was more sinister than it was. He got possibly some bad information, and that's contributed to us going through this war. So, we have to be more vigilant in the process, and making sure that our agencies are working together to ensure this kind of thing doesn't happen. I think it's ridiculous that man's father could call in and make a statement like that, and we didn't take it more seriously. I would suggest we would have probably interviewed him before he would have ever got on any plane coming to America. If your own father would call and make such a claim about you, it would seem, it's not a right to just come to America. It seems like we need to just do a lot better job of checking people out, making sure we're putting them through stringent tests and whatever we need to do. If they're coming from high-risk areas where we know there's a problem with terrorism, then I suggest they don't want to call it profiling or whatever they need to call it, behavior analysis, whatever you need to call it, frame it up, make it, but do what you need to do to protect the American people. Being politically correct is not going to help us out in this kind of situation. We know in the direction of the people we're looking for. I think we need to be vigilant in that and not allow things to get to the point where we were just a few minutes away from some guy blowing up a plane over Detroit, and we could have prevented it from him even getting on the plane in the first place if we were listening to this man's father. So. Again, lessons can be learned, but we also have to move forward realizing that they have not stopped this war. They're not going to go away on their own. I hope the president realizes that now, and that he can't just think that he can smooth talk his way through this, because they don't believe in talking. That's not going to happen. We've sent some smooth talkers already over there before, and again, they don't believe in talking. That is not their reason of negotiating. When they talk, they believe they've won. So you have to take that into consideration when we call ourselves dealing with them in the first place. So I hope that everyone's enjoyed the show tonight. We didn't get a lot of callers. You guys let me run my mouth all evening. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get more callers. The calling number was 347-996-3175. I hope that everyone can hear me clearly on the show this evening. Again, this is for 1 hour. We're going to start bringing in some guests, and maybe, like I said, that'll get more people calling in, but we're going to start bringing in some people so we can ask some of these candidates in 2010, ask them some questions here. Roy Chin, I'm looking for you. I'm going to get you on this show. I know you think I haven't been getting in touch with you, but I forgot about you. I'm going to bring you on the show. Hope you can come on here and talk with us and get a lot of other people on the show in the next coming months. I really appreciate everybody listening on Blog Talk Radio. I also appreciate everybody that's watching on Ustream. Let's see how many people we got going on here on Ustream. We had a total of about 17, 18 people that checked us out on Ustream, so I appreciate you checking me out this evening. We're going to spread the word, let other people know about the show. But, I think, again, this show is meant for people to comment on. It's not really something that was meant to, again, for more, strictly for politicians to have their airtime. They get enough airtime as it is. It's more really about the people and voicing their concerns and allowing, giving us this meeting to do that so we can get it to the ears of the people that need to know how the people are feeling. So I appreciate Dan calling in from out there in California, out in Sacramento. Cold weather, 55 degrees, ooh, so cold. as I look out the snow outside. So again, I appreciate you calling. God bless you. 2 weeks from now, I will have done my first Tea Party speech. I'll be uploading that on YouTube, and I thank everybody for listening. Go to the website, conservativescool.com, and we'll be doing a live chat soon. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and God bless you. Good night.